The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Happy Easter. The draft for the New York Jets is in just 4 days, and a former Jet, Leger Douzable, has revealed what he's calling a perfect 7-round mock. We'll talk about that and more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
I wanted this job. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. And I'm ready for it. It's all about the Jets. This is bigger than me. I look forward to this. We're the freaking New York Jets. We're built for this.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. We have a draft party in just 4 days. Join me, special guest Fireman Ed, and your fellow Asmaniacs for what will be the first of what we hope is many annual draft parties. We'll be at Clinton Hall in New York City, 16 West 36th Street, right in Midtown. Get your ticket. It includes a complimentary drink. It includes an automatic entry into the major, massive raffle we're doing throughout the night. That's going to feature over 15 prizes and counting, signed merch, tickets to games, and a whole lot more. So thank you to everyone who bought a ticket. And if you're still on the fence, make sure you do so, because you can't buy tickets the night of. You got to lock in your spot ahead of time. All right, let's talk about the Jets. The draft, of course, is upon us, and a good friend of the show, current CBS Sports NFL analyst, and, of course, a former Jet himself, Leger Douzable, has a lot to say on what he believes the New York Jets should potentially do in the NFL draft. And just to give people a reminder here, when you talk about mock drafts, we all know the big debate in the first round, right? We all know the big debate in the second round is in large part potentially based on what the Jets do in the first round. But then there's pick 73, pick 109, pick 146, pick 157, pick 188, and then the Chiefs giving us a nice little 6th-round pick as a compensatory pick, or whatever it was. I guess it was maybe the Mecole Hardman trade, actually. That's what it was, giving us pick 209. So you see it up there on the screen, 7, 42, 73, 109, 146, 157, 188, and 209. And this was Leger Douzable's take on what he believes is a perfect 7-round mock for the New York Jets.
This is what the perfect draft looks like for my New York Jets. In the first round, they take tackle Armand Membu from Mizzou, who has the most upside in this draft at the offensive tackle position. Pick 42, they take defensive lineman Darius Alexander from Toledo, who has versatility to play up and down the line of scrimmage and can grow with all-pro defensive tackle Quinn Williams. Pick 73, the Jets get quarterback Justin Fields, an offensive weapon, with tight end Elijah Arroyo from Miami, whose speed will be a mismatch for linebackers and safeties down the seam. Pick 110, they get help in the secondary with safety Latham Ransom from Ohio State, who will compete to start at strong safety this season. Pick 145, the Jets get a developmental speedster at wide receiver and Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech, who can play in the slot. Pick 162, Elijah Roberts from SMU is an edge defender that can kick inside on passing downs. Pick 186, Ricky White from UNLV is a developmental wide receiver who will be a special teams ace. And pick 207, Jonah Monheim from USC is an interior offensive lineman that can develop into a starter in the future.
So, initial thoughts are, would not hate this draft if that's the approach. Would not hate it. Leger does a nice job, of course, of addressing some positions of need. But the order in which he does it would not be ideal. And let's also add this caveat. It's impossible to really evaluate a 7-round mock unless we know what players were there when he's making each selection. And we don't. But in this mock draft, me personally, I'm on board with taking Tyler Warren at 7 over Armand Membu. But I'm not against taking Membu. So let's say the Jets do exactly what Leger proposes there. They take Membu. That's fine. I feel like the Jets are doing themselves a disservice if they're waiting until the 3rd round to try and tap into the offensive talent in this draft. And that, to me, I believe, is my biggest issue I have with this mock. Alexander, who the Jets in this mock draft end up taking here in round 2, Darius Alexander from Toledo, a defensive tackle. He's a really fine, good player, right? Dom C has a 2nd-round grade on him, so you're not reaching. I just think that is the most talented and deep position in the draft, defensive tackle. I think this is one of the best defensive tackle drafts we've seen in years. There are so many guys who are 2nd-round talents who will be there on day 3. So unless I'm getting Mason Graham, I think I want to wait on defensive tackle till either the 3rd-round pick at 72 or 73 for the Jets, or just wait till I get to the 4th round and on. Because I think a 2nd-round player is Derek Harmon. I think Kenneth Grant's a 2nd-round player. I think Alfred Collins is a 2nd or 3rd-round player out of Texas. I think TJ Sanders is a 3rd-round player. Joshua Farmer, Jet fans seem to like him a lot from Florida State, 3rd or 4th-round guy. Jordan Birch from Oregon, 3rd or 4th-round guy. Shamar Turner, Texas A&M, Aaron Glenn, Texas A&M alum, probably there on day 3. I just think there's a lot of guys that they can wait on at the defensive tackle position. The talent is great at that spot. So I don't want to do it at pick 42. The only DT I'd consider in the first 2 days is Mason Graham at 7 because people say he's just so great of a football player. A very close friend of mine is a diehard Michigan fan, and he told me that he has not had more conviction about a player being great in the NFL that played for Michigan since Charles Woodson. That's how confident my friend Mike is, who works in the business as a talk show host on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Mike Melcher. That's how confident he is in Graham. So, to me, he's the only defensive tackle that I personally would take on day 1 or day 2. I would wait. I think there's a dearth of talent there. To me, the Jets aren't in a spot where they can now bet on a 3rd-round player in Elijah Arroyo being the big weapon they come away with on day 1 and day 2. And that, to me, I think is the biggest issue I have here. You're getting a tackle. Membu's a fine pick. But then since you go defensive tackle and you wait till round 3 to take what feels like a bit of a boomer bust tight end in Elijah Arroyo, I think there's a lot of risk there. You know, this is a guy that obviously has dealt with a lot of injuries. To me, there's a lot of risk there. You know, he's certainly a compelling player. He's certainly a guy that, with his size and speed, he's definitely, if he hits, going to be a really good player. I just feel like the Jets are taking a huge risk if they're not addressing skill player till pick 3 in their draft in the 3rd round. And, you know, it's a guy that obviously feels a little boomer bust. You know, we're talking about 1 year of production for this guy. 35 catches, 590 yards this year, 7 touchdowns. I mean, he was dynamic, no doubt. But too much projection for me if that's going to be the first pick that they're going to make in the 3rd round, if that makes sense, as far as being a skill position guy goes. So, to me, I don't like waiting till round 3 to address offensive skill, and Arroyo feels like too big of a risk. Now, the other positions he selects, there's a lot of logic involved. I understand. And I don't even know, by the way, Arroyo is going to be there because someone might just bet on his upside. But let's say he is in this scenario. That's fine. Ricky White in the 6th is a steal. Like that pick a lot by Leger. But, you know, for me, if we're taking Membu, then I need offense, skill players,
at pick 42. Take the best tight end there or the best wide receiver there. Take Mason Taylor at 42 or take Jaden Higgins at 42. Like a Membu Higgins or a Membu Taylor combo, I think would be pretty exciting for us as Jet fans. So I think there's talent at the DT spot. I'm willing to wait. I think it thins at tackle after the second round, in all likelihood. It probably thins at tight end after the second round as well. But overall, not a bad mock, just maybe not how I would go about my second and third round selections, if that makes sense. Some other things I want to hit on here. But first, I want to remind people that since I am doing a Sunday show, it means you have one last chance to enter the Asmaniac raffle, which will be tomorrow on the show. We're going to give away a signed Darrelle Revis photo, a signed Sauce Gardner jersey, a signed Keyshawn Johnson helmet, and a signed Altoon helmet. And oh, wait, there's more. How about a signed Kenny O'Brien jersey as well? So 5 prizes, gift away to be entered, and we will boost membership. So 5 is 7, and 10 is 12 when you gift to be in the raffle. Same thing applies for any super chats out there, and $10 super chats will get you 2 raffle entries. So quick note on that. Darren Muji will speak to the media tomorrow. Now, he's not going to say much because what GM's going to tip their hand days before this draft? But this will be the first time someone from the Jets is going to be asked about what Rodgers said on McAfee last week. And my prediction is Muji's going to say, Aaron's a great quarterback. We appreciated what he contributed to the Jets, but we're not going to comment on players who aren't on the team. That will be, take it to the bank, the PR answer that we will get from Muji. So I would not expect the Jets, specifically Darren Muji, to say anything that is going to, further the story along. I don't foresee that happening at all. So we'll see what he's asked about. I'm sure there'll be some talk about, is 6 too high or 7 too high to take a running back? Your thoughts on that? They'll get his thoughts on that. They'll get his thoughts, I'm sure, on where the draft is deep, and maybe we'll get some interesting comments on the value of a tight end in this class. But I think it's safe to say Darren Muji, who has gone above and beyond in his public appearances to say not a whole lot, that trend will continue tomorrow when he speaks in what is a league required, which is why he's speaking, a league required pre-draft media availability at the Jet facility tomorrow morning. And then we'll go live and react to what he says after the fact. So your thoughts on the 7-round mock, your thoughts on anything Muji might say tomorrow, comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Again, happy Easter to everybody tuning in to the show today. Make sure you lock in your draft party ticket and come out and join us at Clinton Hall in New York City. Party starts at 7. I'll be doing the show live from Clinton Hall right after the Jets take their pick at what we believe is going to be 7 unless they trade. And then we will go from there. But it's going to be a great night. Look forward to bringing this community together that supports the show and makes it possible to do what I do full-time over the last year and change. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Let's open it up on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Thomas with a super chat here says, shout out to our Knicks, baby. Amen. Was at the Garden last night. Place was rocking. 21-0 fourth quarter run. I mean, you never see that in a playoff game. So shout out to the Knicks. Great win last night. A lot of fun being there. Jeffrey says it has to be either a right tackle, Membu first, then tight end second, or vice versa. Warren first, then right tackle second. DT/wide receiver next, then vice versa for the 4th round, unless there's a good safety that drops. Safety is a wild card spot, folks. If the Jets took a safety, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Not saying they're going to do it in the 1st or 2nd round, but pick 73 could be a safety. Wouldn't shock me. There's going to be a wild card pick. There's no way it's going to be conventional. No way. Now, as far as the offensive tackles go, right, I believe the New York Jets could come away at pick 42 with Ariante Ursary. And if the Jets believe he could start, that should be the pick. That, to me, should be the pick at 42 if they're going to take Warren at 7. That's how I would look at it. He's the guy that I've kind of identified as the tackle that I think could be good right away. And just like most Jet fans, I also do like Ozzie Trapillo out of Boston College. Versatile. He's played every position on the line. I think Connor Rogers has nicknamed him Crazy Train because his first name is Ozzy. That's a great nickname. Adam is Too Cool says, imagine if Muji said, quote, he was given everything and we thought he was at his peak last year. He's not going to say that. They're not going to incite a war of words with Aaron Rodgers. They're not. They're going to bury the story as they should. It's over with. Whether you're on the side of they should have brought him back or not, the last thing the Jets need is they shift their focus to 2025 is any comments that keep that story going. Jets Worldwide says, if I was a GM, I totally would disclose a bogus story about who we're drafting. I mean, they do kind of put out some like feelers out there, or maybe they like say something that could maybe misdirect a little bit. But personally, I don't think Muji's going to say a whole lot. Jack writes in, say what you want. Douglas was a great draft day guru. Big shoes to fill. Let's push back on this a little bit. And Joe Douglas certainly had his hits, Zach. He was not a draft day guru, though. He wasn't. Joe Douglas failed to hit on a single player on the offensive side of the ball after pick 45. Tell me which wide receiver Joe Douglas drafted that was a good player, or which tight end he drafted that was a good player after the second round, essentially. Like, he hit on some picks and spots you're supposed to. No, you don't take that away from him, but there's context needed to be applied to it. You take a player at 4, you're supposed to hit on that guy. You take a player at 10, you're supposed to hit on that guy. Now, look, trading up for Jermaine Johnson and getting him, he deserves credit for that. Trading up for Breece Hall and getting him certainly deserves credit for that. But Jeremy Ruckert in round 3, Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore in round 2. You want to give him credit for Jamie and Sherwood and Michael Carter on day 3? Awesome. But you got to find offensive players too. And they failed to do it. What offensive linemen have the Jets developed? Like all these other teams in the league, they could find guys on day 2, day 3, and they eventually be starters. Right? So while Joe Douglas wasn't awful, certainly had a higher hit rate than McCagnon or Izek, he didn't do a good enough job. So Darren Muji has to set the tone with this class and get some real hits here. Knob Deep says, Michael Carter was the best one after 45. Yeah, probably. I mean, go look at the drafts. Like, what offensive players did the Jets hit on after the second round? Even Joe Tippmann, who's a good second-round pick, he's a high second-round pick. Same with Breece. So they got to get after it, and they got to get it right. Rick says Carter was only good for 1 season. Are you talking about Michael Carter, the running back? He flashed as a rookie and then fell off. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Clifton is in the Asmaniac raffle for 2 with this $10 super chat. Not tuned in. I'll watch on delay after we leave the in-laws, but I need one last chance at tune. Well, be like Kyle Clifton and enter for your chance to win a signed Altoon helmet, which we'll give away tomorrow. William says, our scouting department missed out on a ton of players on draft day over the years. 100%. It's been a problem for a long time. Thomas says, how can we gift the membership on the iPhone? Unfortunately, you can't. So we added the caveat for people to super chat if they want in on the raffle. So if you want in, Thomas, send in a $10 super chat. That's the minimum to get entered. And that will get you 2. You send in a 20. For today only, it's going for 7. Let's open it up on the phone line, and let's say hello first up today to Mr. Weed. Hello, Weed.
Jake, what's up, man?
Hello, Weed.
Asshole.
Weed.
What's up, bro?
Who's behind you there?
No same.
It looks the same.
You're fucking asshole.
Is that
There's
Mrs.
no
Weed?
fucking phone on there. Hang him
Hi,
up.
hi, Mrs. Weed.
Hang him up.
Mrs. Weed,
Hey,
how
Ma.
are you?
Jake says hi.
Hi.
Mrs.
Hi, Jake.
Weed.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, Mrs.
Happy
Weed.
420.
Oh, happy 420.
Absolutely. I had to lead off with your son today, given the fact it is not just Easter, but 420 as well.
Oh, he knew.
It's only 420.
He doesn't count Easter. But he takes it in the keister.
How's the holiday going, Weed?
It's going pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm living the dream, Weed. I really am.
This draft party is going to be absolutely bonkers.
It's the talk of the town. I was walking around New York earlier, and 7 people stopped me, and they said, Mr. Weed's going to be there. I go, you damn right he is.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you want at 7, Mr. Weed?
I have an apathetic approach to this offseason. I'm not talking about it. I'm not focusing on it. I just hope we get wins.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from him first. Mr. Weed.
You get the out.
Thank you, Weed. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Thomas has figured out how to gift. I guess he signed on from the laptop. He gifted a membership, and he's in the raffle for 1. Thomas's membership went to South Philly, who's a longtime listener, so your membership definitely went to a deserving Asmaniac. Thank you, Thomas. Let's get to more of your calls here. Australian Jet fan is next. He'll be at the draft party. What's up, Ozzy?
What's up, Jake? I'm at the club again, but I don't miss a Jake Asman show for nothing. You know what I mean? I have someone that might want to say hi. Do you want to say hi? She doesn't want to say hi.
No,
that's all right.
That's okay. You tell her we all say hello. All right.
She did watch the show the other day though, because I told her about it. But yeah.
Well, I hope you have a great time at the club, and the night ends well for you. All right.
All right. Have a good one, Jake. I'll see you soon. I can't wait for the draft party.
He's clubbing, baby. Love it. Don't be silly. Wrap your willy, AJF. That's what we say here in America. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Your thoughts on the 7-round mock from Leger Douzable. We will have a press conference with the Jets' new GM, Darren Muji, tomorrow, the annual pre-draft presser. I'm not expecting much. But this draft is fast approaching, folks. Just 4 days to go until we get to the draft. More of your calls right now. And we got open phone lines if you want in. If you want 0 wait time, this is definitely the show for you here on Easter Sunday.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
David, how are you? Let's go, Knicks.
Oh my God, yes. What a treat today. I didn't think you were going to have a show. I was actually watching a replay of a different show and boring. No disrespect. But anyway, Tyler Warren, if they pick him, I'm going to do backward flops in my apartment. And that's all I got, buddy.
David, short and sweet. I love it. I'll tell you what, if they take Tyler Warren, when you call into the draft show, you got to give us a little cartwheel or something, all right?
Yeah, yes. You know what, Jake? That's Thursday. I don't have to work that night. So, yes, I thank you for asking me. I definitely would. I don't think I could do 360 backflips, but I'm 68 years old, but I would definitely call in.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, the great David T.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
How about that? If the Jets take Tyler Warren, we're going to get a David T, backflip, cartwheel, something. Love that. Love it. Comments, questions, super chats. What to you is the plan for the Jets with their first 3 picks. I want to shout some people in the comments who are watching live right now. If you're watching the show live, give me in honor of what Leger did, right? He gave us the perfect 7 rounds. I won't ask for 7. Give me your perfect first 3 picks for the Jets. So 7, 42, 73. Let's say they stick and pick. So give me 3 names that you want. 1, 2, 3 for the New York Jets. And let's kind of get a little feel for where the fan base is at right now. A couple days out from a very important first draft for this organization. Very, very important. You write it in, and we will bring it up on the screen. Jeffrey says, I wish I could go to the freaking draft party. Sounds like it's going to be awesome. Stuck here in North Carolina, maybe next year. It definitely will be awesome, and hopefully next year you can make it, Jeffrey. This is the first time I've been able to do a draft party a year ago. I already made a commitment to go to Circa to broadcast from their sports book. So we're doing a party after the success of all the live watch parties we did for games last year. I think this is going to be a blast. Mr. Bigskin says, Warren, Higgins, Trapillo. That'd be an awesome draft, man. I agree with your strategy. Can we address offense with our first 3 picks? We need offensive players badly. You want Justin Fields to take that step? Help him. I don't know if he's good enough to do it or not, but I want to give him every chance to maybe be our guy. Isn't that the point? David with a thumbs up. Thank you, David. Appreciate your support. Reminder to Super Chat, if you want in on the raffle, if you can't gift a normal membership because you're watching from the phone. Happy Easter to our next caller. Purple Belt Mike is next. What's up, Mike?
What up? This is what's going to happen. We're trading back. We're going to get Kelvin Banks. Then we're going to trade up, 32nd pick overall, and we're going to get Ibuka. And then in the 3rd round, we still get our 3rd round pick. That's going to be Trapillo. That's our 3 picks, baby. Right there.
Oh, yeah. Where do I sign for that mock?
I know. That would be awesome. Get a wide receiver 2, a right tackle, and a stud. I'm in, baby.
Mike, how's
Happy
the Easter going
buddy.
for you?
It was good, man. I had good food. I got $100 on the egg hunt, so that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so we do an egg hunt with the. I'm one of 6 kids, so my dad does egg hunts for all of us, and we still do it. So
You're one of
it's pretty
6?
fun. I'm the youngest of 6.
Wow. Are they all Jet fans?
Yeah. We're all the same. Mets, Jets, Knicks, Islanders.
Love that. That's awesome. Your parents raised you right.
Well, I don't know about that, but
loyalty, none of this like, my dad was a huge Jet fan, but I root for a different team. Like you gotta root for it's gotta be passed down,
My dad's 75 years old. He grew up as a Brooklyn Dodger fan. So when they left, he was all pissed off and he hated the Yankees.
Right.
And then he would ride his bike when Shea Stadium was built. So that's why we're Mets fans. And he also saw Joe Namath play. So, I mean, he lived through the glory days of our team. He's seen every team win.
I know. Must be
Unlike
nice.
me, who I've seen nobody win. Yeah.
Mike, you're the man. See you in a few days.
See you, buddy.
Purple Belt Mike, check it in. Happy Easter to him and everyone out there. M. Morris is the youngest of 6 as well. M. Morris, you got to call in, man. I don't know if you've ever called before, but you're always engaging in the comments. Beastbreaker says, I wish I had $100 on Easter. Don't we all? Adam is too cool. His ideal mock is Graham, Ursary, and Fannin. So Fannin intrigues me. It's just it's tough to know what you're getting with him because he played at Bowling Green. Now he held his own though, from what I understand, at the Senior Bowl. He's got good burst. I know Dom C is written in his scouting report. He's got that dog in him. Seems like an Aaron Glenn type of player. I don't hate that. Gator says Tyron Smith, Dilbert, Monkey Puss, and Ham Sandwich is his top 3. Thank you, Gator. Appreciate your contributions. And Morris says Warren, Connerly Jr., Kyle Williams. I like that a lot. Tight end, tackle, receiver. Good mock to me. Rick Kent says I'd call in, but I have no take on the draft. That's okay, Rick. We love you anyway. Jeffrey says, don't we get an extra fourth for Reddick this year? Next year would be the comp that they'd get back for not Reddick, though. It would be for Kinlaw. That's what you're referring to. Super Chat cuts the line. Peg and Artie checking in. Jake, I want to do a shot of Henny with you on Thursday. Peg. You got it, Peg. Let's make it happen on Thursday. Jack Talks Jets, who's coming to our draft party. Warren Ursery Harris. Trey Harris, another name a lot of Jet fans seem to like. Ursery is intriguing to me. We the People writes in, my mom hates even having her picture taken, so you getting her live on your show is a huge deal. Well, it truly was an honor, Weed. We love Mrs. Weed. Her presence was certainly felt by all of us on the show. Mike says, don't sleep on Banks and Ibuka. So Banks in a trade down, Mike. I love your idea. What I don't kind of understand, though, why isn't Banks being considered more of a option for the Jets at 7? Is it because he's not played right tackle, but he played left tackle at Texas? I think he's played guard as well in his career. Like, I don't know. I talked to someone that covers UT and thinks that Kelvin Banks is going to be an awesome pro. He's got a lot of starting experience, right? He started 13 games in 2022. He started 13 games in 2023. He played this past year. Brick house built, compact, packs a serious punch, fires off the line of scrimmage with bad intentions, and he's always looking for someone to bury. Strikes with power and will move his feet through contact. Is a little shorter than most tackles, so this gives him lower pads naturally. However, he sinks well and displays good flexibility. Combine that with powerful upper body, he can just knock defenders off tilt. Some of the stuff in the scouting report from Dom C on Banks. Kyle Clifton with a super chat. We should spend all our clock on the phone with Pitt, but have a framework to go back 2 spots with New Orleans. A 4th, a 7th this year, and a 4th next. I would make that deal with New Orleans in the 2nd, for what it's worth. More of your calls right now. Once again, memberships and super chats are boosted for the raffle tomorrow. I thought yesterday would be the last show, but just like someone else rose on this day, I have rose and have done at least 30 minutes of a show so far. Before we get to more of your calls, let's talk about our sponsor. That's Mando Deodorant. Folks, some of you stink. I'm just going to be straight up and honest with you. But don't worry, because Mando is here to help.
Here we go. Introducing Lumi for Men, and we named him Mando. The whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to block odor all day and controls odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, between your butt cheeks. So here's the odor controlling math. 12 hours after a shower with soap, the average armpit and nether region had an odor score of 8 and 5 out of 10. 12 hours after a shower with soap and applying Mando, those odor scores were 0. How do you like them apples?
Yeah, baby. Shop Mando. Let's go. Get your starter pack $5 off. That's actually over 40% you're going to save with promo code Asman at shopmando.com. Got my Mando stick deodorant I use. I got my Mando spray deodorant that I use. I mean, I've been using Mando now for over a year. They've been an awesome supporter of the channel. So I'm telling you, try it. All right. It's about time you guys get on board with Mando because we're going to make sure that you don't stink. Isn't that what we want? You don't want to smell. And if you're coming to my draft party, you better not smell. We're going to throw you out of there. Come on now. So shopmando.com, promo code Asman, and take full advantage of the discount you'll get on their starter pack. Thank you to Mando for sponsoring our show. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Boy is up next today. Hello, Johnny Boy.
My man, 50 grand. What's going on, Jake?
What's up, Knicks. Johnny? Let's go Knicks, baby.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that must have been a insane atmosphere when you were at that game.
Yeah, man. I mean, the fourth quarter, as the momentum was shifting and the run was kind of starting, like it was sick. And I've been at every home Knick playoff game since last year, and now obviously the one Sunday. So it was as loud as any of those games. It was awesome.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome, man. Dude, did you hear that new Blitz BK album? I've been bumping it since the morning, man. It's fire.
I haven't heard it yet, but I'm excited to listen.
Dude, it's on every platform, man. You gotta listen to it. It's insane. He shot you out in it too, man.
I gotta check it out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean the song "Addicted," Jets football. I mean, just there's a lot of bangers up there. Um, the other thing too, man. Hey, shout you out, Jake. Like real talk. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, I feel like a lot of the content creators that kind of like spawned from this, right? And you show a lot of love behind closed doors, man. And we just started our own little merch store up in Jets Worldwide, and you were the first one to buy a shirt from us, man. So
I was the first one. Let's go.
Yeah, you were the first one, bro. As soon as we put it up, we saw that Jake Asman was right there. So shout you out on that, man. We do appreciate that and whatnot, but it's awesome, man. So thank you for that. But let's talk about our Jets now. I don't know, man. I think we're trading back. I think all the Tyler Warren talk, I think all the Membu talk, because a lot of it's smokescreen. And I think we're going to trade back. I mean, Spielman's there, right? Spielman is one of like the consulting cats for Muji and them.
Spillman is there. Yep, we'll be there in the war room with them. Yep.
And we only have 8 picks, I believe, right?
Let's take a look here. The New York Jets currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks. Correct.
Yeah, he's a guy that likes having double-digit picks on there, so that's why I really believe that we're going to move back.
Who's coming up though? That's the thing, right? Like I agree. I think in a perfect world the Jets would move back, but I don't know what team is coming up to 7 for what player.
If it depends, if Sanders falls, I could see the Saints being a team that would maybe, especially now with the Derek Carr situation being there, you know, or maybe we go as far as back as 21 and get a whole bunch of other picks and kind of go from there. I mean, I think that might be a little bit too far back, but I don't know. I think we're in a position that is kind of good because we could go either way, I believe. But gun to my head, we're at 7. I'm team build the wall. Let's go ahead and on either side at that too. But I would rather get the right tackle completely like solid in regards to the offensive line and be good. For I think you were the one that put up the Bollinger that he has stated like the last time we had a really, really great O-line, the video was pixely as anything. So
Baldinger. Yep. Baldy.
Yep. But hey, for real though, Jake, I appreciate you, man. Hey, happy Easter to everybody that's celebrating today. New York sports right now is on fire. Let's go. It seems like the sports world is a lot better when all of our teams are doing really well. We just need our New York Jets to get on board as well, man. Jake, appreciate you, man.
Johnny, thank you. And it's awesome to support you and Snowball. So, of course, I had to buy a shirt from your guys' store. Rick Kent says, don't you think if Sanders fell to 7, he'd be there at 9 for the Saints? I agree with you, Rick. And that's why you really need another team to show true love for Sanders. Now, maybe it's Pittsburgh, right? Maybe he's their guy. But I'm not so sure. Maybe the Saints are nervous, though. They would call the Jets. Like, if the Jets could get, like, a 4th-round pick for doing nothing, I would do that. All right? Just move back a couple spots. Fine. You know, this drafting at the end of the day, there's skill, but there's also some luck into it. And you have a better chance of hitting on guys if you have more picks. It's just math, right? Some people think that some people think that New Orleans is identifying Dart as their quarterback, not even Shador. So I don't know. Allen says if the Raiders take Membu, the Jets should jump on Genty. Or maybe someone else wants Genty and they could trade out. I don't want to take a running back that high, Allen. We just fundamentally disagree on that. I don't think the Jets can afford to make that pick when it's not like they have a bad running back situation. There are too many other needs. Boomtown says, I'm surprised there hasn't been more talk about the Jets moving a pick or two or player for a high pick next year. They're going to need all the ammo possible to move up in 2026. Yeah, I don't know Other than maybe Pittsburgh coming all the way up, boom, from 21 to 7. Which team's doing that? You know, like if Pittsburgh wants to come up, you'll get some picks for next year because they're coming all the way up from 21 to 7 to take a quarterback. I don't know who the Jets would trade. I could see the Jets maybe adding a veteran. What if they traded for Goddard or Mark Andrews to play tight end? Just cost you money. It's not going to cost you a ton in draft capital. One of your 4th-round picks should be enough to get that done. Beastbreaker says, MSG is a great arena for basketball, boxing, wrestling, dog shows, and U.S. Open tennis. Well, Beast, I don't know if you know this, but they actually play the U.S. Open in Queens. They don't play it at Madison Square Garden. And as far as the other events, I didn't realize they do a dog show at MSG, but I'd imagine it is probably the mecca for dog shows too, if true. They play the U.S. Open at Queens, man. They got 2 beautiful, renovated recently stadiums. D's Nuts says, Beast, eat a Frank. I could use a hot dog. I could use a hot dog. Jets Johnny brought up the Brian Baldinger clip. This was Baldinger the other day giving us a little Jet fan porn for us.
Remember when the Jets could put together an offensive line, go to Foxborough in a playoff game and beat them? Beat them right there in the trenches. Wayne Hunter, you got Brandon Moore, Mangold. How about Matt Slauson that year? You got DeBrick, you got Tony Richardson, and a guy like Sean Green could go put this game away. Like, you watch this, it's been this long. This is how grainy the film is. It's been this long, it seems, since they've been able to put a great offensive line together and not allow any penetration. Tony Richardson just melting safeties off the corner. Strong backs, turning the corner into the end zone. And they could protect Sanchez like this. Like, no matter what you did, you got Mangold right there. Like, look at this. Here comes the stunt. Look at this pocket. Like, it's a cradle of love right there for Sanchez to make that throw to Jericho Cotchery, who breaks a tackle and gets down in the alley. Like, 58 yards later, Jets were ready to score. Remember when the Jets used to put an offensive line together? God, it'd be nice if they could do that.
It would be. And look, that doesn't mean that you have to take Membo at 7 to do that, though. It's been kind of my point. Like, 2010 Jets, they didn't have all first-round picks on their offensive line in that cut you're watching there. They didn't. Now, some of the guys on that line were first-round picks that they made, right? Nick Mangold, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, the famous 06 draft that the Jets had. One of the best drafts in team history. Helped the Jets make the playoffs after missing the playoffs and winning 4 games in Herm Edwards last year in 05. But the 2010 Jets, it wasn't just, hey, we had a bunch of first-round picks on the O-line. It was a combination of smart free agent signings, player development, and then, yeah, you certainly had some stars, but like the 2010 Jets, they were really, really good. Because they also had great coaching too, right? Bill Callahan, to me, is like a Hall of Fame level offensive line coach. So that's the other factor we don't know. The Jets have a new offensive line coach that Aaron Glenn personally brought with him from Detroit, right? Steve Hayden, I think is his name. Former tight ends coach. Now he's the O-line coach. He was an assistant O-lines coach with the Cardinals. He has a big say in this too. But I went back and looked, like, yeah, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, first-round pick, obviously, 06. But Matt Slauson was a left guard. You know where he was picked, folks? In the 6th round. Sure, Nick Mangold was a first-round pick. But the right guard was Brandon Moore. You know where he was picked? He wasn't picked. He was a college free agent. He was a UDFA. Damian Woody. You know where he was picked? It doesn't matter, because guess what? They signed him in free agency. That was the starting O-line in 2010. Now, you want to do the starting offensive line for the Jets in 2009 because It was built kind of similar. It was. 2009 Jets, you know, a team that led the NFL in rushing that year. Left tackle was Ferguson, first-round pick. Left guard was Alan Faneca, future Hall of Famer, free agent signing. Nick Mangold, first-round pick. Brandon Moore, college free agent. Damian Woody, free agent signing. So my point is that while it would be nice to say, oh, you put Membo in and boom, your O-line is solidified, there's other ways to build it. Draft and develop on day 2 and day 3. You need weapons right now. It's why I'm in the camp of I would lean Warren if I can't trade out of 7. I think he's a game-changing talent, and I think he fits the style that I want to be offensively. If we're trying to navigate the draft, I think that's the best path to do it. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. T-Town Jet has gifted a channel membership. He is in the raffle for 1. This is the final show you could gift to be in. Your membership gift goes to a fellow Asmaniac as well. So John Eric is now a channel member. You get a free super chat every month. When you're a channel member, you get a badge next to your name that shows your loyalty to the show. You get emoji access. We're working on trying to add the little Joey emoji, but we still need more memberships for that. Open phone lines if you want in on the conversation. There is nobody on hold right now. So if you want to make a debut on the show, this is your opportunity. Until then, though, folks, it is time to check in with a man that around these parts needs no introduction. He is someone that we wake up and we respect. He is someone that when we wake up, we fear. And he is someone that we love. Happy Easter, Beast.
Happy Easter to you and your brother. Did you get my email for that?
I saw it. Very nice of you to wish us a happy Easter.
Well, hey, it's a once-in-a-lifetime shot, but these draft picks, oh, God, everybody's got these different draft picks. I'm sticking to my 3. Campbell, Membu, Warren. If we don't get Warren, then you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I'll take a look into the draft department, see what they have to offer. Hey, what you see is what you get. That's it. That's life. You just got to go with the flow and go with the punches.
What'd you do for Easter, Beast?
I had my ham and had some taters, and then I just watched a little bit of St. Brutal Cathedral Church. Just watch a little stuff from the church because I don't go generally during the Easter time, but around Christmas time, that's the best time to go. I've been doing it for almost 20 years, and I want to thank Curie High School for giving me that chance because if it weren't for my old high school, Curie High School, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I want to say thank you to them for giving me life. And this is one of their cups that they gave me because I'm also part of their alumni.
I see.
Throats. That also means drink up in Germany.
Mike D's Nuts is leaving the show because you're on, Beast. Would you like to respond to him?
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. If you want to be a baby, and that nice little comment about me having a hot dog, we don't eat hot dogs on Easter. We eat ham. We also eat prime rib and also lamb. And we also make a good point to our Father, the great Jesus. Now, if you want to make insults about God, that's on you. That's you. You do your part. You do what you have to do. I do what I have to do. Bottom line, nothing said. I'm sticking to those 3 draft picks. And then last night I got a chance to watch the Connor and Chris. They were bringing up a name that kind of familiarized me, Nick Folk. He's still out in the market. I'm going, if we don't keep Zerline, why don't we get Nick Folk? I mean, he's a former Jet. Why don't we get him? But I'm going to go take a nap now. Night-night, kids.
No, I know why you're leaving. You saw Rick Kent was about to ban your ass for the day. Rick, you see, he's on to you. He's on to you. I couldn't even hold him. Unbelievable. Rick Kent was ready, and then Beast saw it. Beast is now constantly checking the chat. He is legitimately afraid of the hole. It's a phenomenon. He doesn't want to be sent to the hole, so he leaves before a proper bounty can take its place. Unbelievable. Well, Rick, I'll tell you what. all is not lost. You are still getting a bonus on this. So normally it'd be 10 memberships for you, Rick, 12 in our raffle tomorrow. Give it up to Rick and everyone. B says, leave me alone, Rick. Bees, come on, call back in. Surely you and Rick can work it out. Man. Kyle Clifton says, even if Warren is Shockey minus, that's a good pick. Yeah, Jeremy Shockey, if you tell me that's who Warren is, I think you take that. I mean, this is not the draft where you're going to find the star wide receiver. That'd be a good pick. Mike D's Nuts says, Beast, eat a sausage, you glizzy champ. Let's see. Rick Kent says, funny how he went from threatening me to playing the victim. Rick Kent says, Beast, what a chicken. He's a coward. More of your calls right now. Our resident draft expert happens to be on the line. I was just referencing one of his scouting reports earlier this show. Dom C. What's up, Dom?
Jake, what's up, buddy?
Dom, how are you, man? You excited? I mean, this is the Super Bowl for you in 4 days.
Oh, man, I know. It's been a whirlwind couple months coming to an end, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited for us. I'm excited for us as Jets fans. You know, it's the kind of coming of a new dawn, if you will. Out with the old and into the new.
Yeah, hopefully they get it right. If you had to guess right now, Dom, what's the pick at 7?
If I had to guess right now, I think it's probably Warren because I have a feeling that Membo might be off the board.
Really? New England is going to take him at 4?
Either New England or the Raiders are kind of sneaky. I don't know if I'm buying all the Ashton Genty to the Raiders stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised. There's been grumblings. I'm sure other people have heard it or read it as well. San Francisco has 12 picks, right? Don't be surprised if they move up, use some of that capital to move up. And maybe that's the spot with the Raiders. They make a deal and go and secure Membo. Would be a perfect fit over there. He can play right tackle. He can play guard. They have, some needs and some holes all along that offensive line as well. So
that would be interesting.
If I had to guess, I'd say Warren, and I think that's the way I'd lean to. But I'm with Leger. I'm all about Darius Alexander in the second round, and
that pick.
And I'll go get my tackle in round 3, whether it's Trapillo, Anthony Belton. I'll even back up 3 and 4 and take guys that have that inside-outside versatility because we're going to need guards too, Jake. Maybe not, plug-and-play guards, but you're going to need that pipeline. You're probably not going to re-sign AVT and Simpson next year.
I guess the question I have, Dom, would be, can they afford to wait till, the 3rd round to start addressing, skill player? Arroyo was his pick in the 3rd round. Bit of a one-year wonder, some injury stuff there. That to me is my hesitation. It's such a good defensive line class. Shouldn't I be taking a receiver or a tight end at 42 if I'm taking the tackle at 7?
Well, here's the question I would pose, and I'm not trying to be Nelly negative or anything like that, but if you're taking Warren, and play along with me, if you're taking Warren at 7, right? Garrett's your alpha. Breece Hall's going to be a integral part of the passing offense as well as the running offense in a more run-centric theme, and then you have Warren. How important is wide receiver 2? Is it you better take one in early capital on day 2? Probably not. You have 3 guys that can play the X already on the roster. In the guy that they signed, why am I forgetting his name, from Jacksonville, was with Detroit with Jacksonville. You got Allen
Reynolds.
Reynolds. Tyler Johnson's a bigger guy, and Alan Lazard. So all those guys are. They're flexible in terms of they can play in the slot, they can play on the boundary, they're bigger, they can all block. How important is wide receiver 2 this year? I don't know. So that's why I would say you're not going to fill every hole in this draft. You're just not. It's impossible. Yep. So if there's one that has to wait until, if there's one hole that has to wait until day 3, I'd probably say it's wide receiver.
Interesting. I guess the counter to that would be, well, like if you want Fields to truly be unlocked, like shouldn't you just get a better option for him besides Garrett Wilson? Like,
yes, but define unlocked. What is unlocked? Is unlocked 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns? That's not going to happen.
No, you know? But yeah, like I don't know what the stats would be because he's such a unique player with his ability to run. But like, it's kind of like the Supreme Court's definition of porn. Like I know it when I see it. Like if we see Fields like looking good and going through, and like the playmakers helping him yards after the catch. I don't know. I think that could do wonders. Just like we saw Sam have like Jefferson and Jordan Addison, and he had a decent running game. Like I just feel like Garrett Wilson's been incredibly durable in his career. I fear like what if he gets hurt or something like that?
Yeah,
it's like,
no, I
you
mean,
just want some depth.
That's absolutely true, and you could say that amongst a bevy of different positions with the Jets. Unfortunately, right? We're banking. Look at our edge group. We're banking that Jermaine Johnson, who is one of my favorite players on the Jets, we're banking that he's going to be back to the production that he was year 2. And we just don't know that that's the case coming off that Achilles, right? And then you have, Will McDonald, who took a nice step up, but Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes have never really utilized those smaller defensive ends, for heavy reps, 50, 60, 70% of the reps. And then what? And then Michael Clemens, Eric Watts, nice player. That's a depth piece, So you're right in the sense that if Garrett gets hurt, we're screwed because the depth is weak. But you could say that all over the place. What if Quinn gets hurt? What if Will McDonald gets hurt? What if Sherwood gets hurt? There's not depth anywhere, and you're not going to fill every hole with 8 picks in one draft.
What if like Higgins is there at 42? Would you take him?
I love Higgins. He is one of my favorites in the class. So I think he'd be in the discussion. I like I said, I think if they're going to go wide receiver, I'm not sure if Higgins is the build that they're going to go. Like I said, I'm assuming that between Reynolds, Lazard, and Tyler Johnson, those are going to be your reps on the outside. Those are going to be your boundary X reps. So if there's going to be a receiver, it's going to be somebody that has like inside-outside versatility, but is more in the mold of Garrett, like kind of shifty, short area quickness, yards after the catch. Like, the Kyle Williams hype, like he would be a perfect fit. Jalen Royals from Utah State, Jalen Knoll from Iowa State. Like, to me, if they're going to go wide receiver early, or even like a Jack Best, who's not that mold, but he's a different type of like kind of like a power slot receiver. If they're going to go wide receiver early, I would guess that it's going to be more slot specific, and then that guy's going to battle with the Yak King and see if they can develop anything out of Corley.
That's a good point as well. I do wonder if there's a path for them to trade out of 7, Dom. Do you see a team coming up to 7? Give us some options for the Jets if they can pull off a trade back. Because I have heard this, and I know it's been reported. I think Samini had a nugget on this. The Jets are trying to get out of 7, but every team tries to move back if they can. A lot of times, it's easier said than done.
Yeah, 7 is tough. Like I said, I watch for the 49ers to move up in round 1 if they target some guy that they want to go get.
Maybe Mason Graham's there at 7.
Maybe it's Mason Graham. Yeah, I mean that's a solid 3 tech if through and through. So maybe San Francisco, maybe one of the teams, whether it's Chicago or Dallas. Although I don't think they'll be real players to move up, but maybe they want to go get Genty. I think it's a more realistic situation, Jake, that you see us move back in round 2, get like another late 3rd or 4th round pick or accumulate something like that, than to trade down from 7.
I'm with you. Do you think the Jets take a quarterback at some point in this draft, Dom?
$1 million question. I think they will. I don't know if I necessarily will, because like I said, you just the depth all over the rest of the field outside of maybe cornerback, which I think is the room is pretty solid, and running back, I think you can make that same argument. I think there's so many holes elsewhere that I would probably just bypass on a quarterback, run Jordan Travis as your 3, and then at least you have 3 guys with all similar skill sets, right? They're all mobile quarterbacks that can affect the game with the run. So you know that if any of them have to play, you can kind of keep the same scheme. So that's the way I would look at it.
Interesting. I do wonder too, when you look at like this approach, are they truly best player available, or are they going to be, more, hey, best player available at a position in need early?
Yeah.
Like, I think once you get past like maybe pick 42, it becomes BPA, but like 42 is a high pick and they have some glaring needs. 7, we know obviously is, a tremendously valuable pick. They're hoping they're not picking in the top 7 a year from now. So like, I guess the question I've wondered for a while, and I want your take on it. If Mason Graham, Tyler Warren, and Armand Member are all somehow there at 7, what do you believe the Jets would do?
I think the discussion is really hard, but I think it's a 50-50 shot. Now, we're talking about the Jets and not me.
Yes. What do you think they would do?
I think they're going to have half the room pounding the table for Armand Membu and half the room pounding the table for Tyler Warren. I think those two are if they're both on the board, those are the discussion points. I don't think Mason Graham is going to be in the discussion.
Now, Mason Graham's your 8th rated player. What would you personally do?
I would personally probably take Tyler Warren. More so because although it's a deep tight end class, I think that you can see some of these guys go off the board a lot quicker than we've suspected in these mocks. Like obviously Loveland's going to go, relatively high. Don't be surprised if Mason Taylor doesn't come out, if he's off the board by the time we pick in round 2.
Wow.
Right. So I think that there's there's a pretty steep drop off in the type of receiver or type of tight end, I should say. After that, like I like Harold Fannin a lot, but he's he's more so of that big slot, not going to be kind of that inline tight end. After that, you're getting down to like, the kid from Texas who's, maybe he's probably a day 3 pick at this point, running 4.8. And then there's some late round guys that I happen to like a lot. Thomas Fedone Jr. out of Nebraska. I think he's being slept on. Jalen Conyers, but those are day 3 guys that I think that they're great players, but I don't know if they're coming in and really plug and play. So for me, I think Tyler Warren, you can kind of set it and forget it. Is he a perfect prospect? He's not. Is he Brock Bowers? He's not. Brock Bowers was a special talent, but this draft is different than last year's draft.
Yep.
So
like to me, if there was a receiver that was worthy of 7, I would feel more comfortable taking the receiver than the tight end, but more than me. I don't think there's a receiver worth a top 7 pick in this draft.
Yeah, no, there's probably not. Like, and I know people like Tet, and Tet's not a bad player. He's not, but again, I just question for the Jets, how much they're going to really value that wide receiver 2, not one to take in the top 10. I don't think there's a difference maker, and again, I don't think it's a position. Although the depth is putrid, I could see them valuing the tackle, the defensive line, the safety room, the tight end room a lot higher than wide receiver 2.
Yep. Now, what's your take on those who want Genty at 7?
I mean, if you want Genty at 7, it's fine if your idea is you're going to take the best player available because he's probably going to be the best player available. Like when you're talking true BPA, that's why it's almost impossible to really truly draft true BPA straight through a draft. But I'd say maybe if we were in a different situation, maybe we're a piece away, and you wanted to go get Genty. Detroit, when they took a running back in the top 12, they had already established they were already winning. They needed that piece there to kind of set their offense over the top. We're not there yet. We don't know if the quarterback's going to be able to play. We don't know who he's going to be throwing to. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that offense before you worry about taking Genty. But again, he's going to be probably going to be the best player available on the board when the Jets pick. But I'm always a not necessarily draft for need, but kind of blend that value and need.
I agree.
Find value wherever it can. And for me, like I said, it's not that I dislike Membo. I'd be, if he's the pick, that's it. I'd be fine with it. He's not my favorite tackle in the class. He's not my highest rated tackle in the class. But I would get it. I just think when you talk about value, you start to get some really good value in rounds 2 or 3. I know some people like Ursary, Jonah Savanea from Arizona. Some think he can move into something. He's going to move into guard full time. I absolutely think he could play tackle. That would be great value. And if they traded back in round 2, or maybe even if he stuck out to round 3, and like I said, Ozzy Trapillo is a nice guy. I don't know if he's plug and play. Anthony Belton from North Carolina State, a guy nobody talks about. Probably the biggest power profile of all the offensive linemen in this class. I think he's plug and play. He's got, almost 40 starts under his belt. Is he a perfect prospect? Again, no. That's why he's going to go in the late second to late third round. But I would take a guy. I would take a guy like that and hope that the Jets can coach him. The coaching staff is going to be, better than it was over the past.
Now the bar is pretty low for that.
That's right.
Especially on the offensive side of the ball, for sure. Dom, your thoughts on when you get past like 7 and the Jets could trade back, what's the earliest you'd feel comfortable taking one of these receivers like Tet or Matthew Golden, who I happen to like and think the Jets might like him more because Glenn loves speed and Golden is like a burner, man. He's like Garrett Wilson, they say.
Yeah, I'd lean more so, again, towards Emeka Egbuka than I would over Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden, like I said, straight line speed, the testing is real. There's no denying that. He doesn't play that fast on the field. So I think that Emeka Egbuka is the guy, like I said, knowing that he is more slot specific, has some inside-outside versatility. He's the guy I think that's going to be a real consummate pro. He might not ever be a wide receiver 1, but the Jets don't need a wide receiver 1, right? They need a viable wide receiver 2. So that if they're going to trade down and they're going to target wide receiver, I'm much more on the Emeka Egbuka train.
What about they trade down and target a tackle? Like, tell me why Kelvin Banks is not being more considered. A guy that played multiple years at Texas, top program. Like, heard he's a really high character dude from one of my friends who covers Texas. Like, I'm curious why Banks is not being discussed more as an option for the Jets.
Listen, he won the what is it, the Oak Walker Award, whatever, the top tackle in the country last year. I mean, he's legit. He can move very well. I think he's going to be high on the boards of teams that run that wide zone, outside zone kind of offensive blocking scheme. I think he's going to be a great fit. He might be a better guard than tackle. I think a lot of his downfalls are real technical. Low and outside hands. You know what happens with low and outside hands? You get cold with holding. And if you look at the Texas offensive lineman last year, Banks I think had 11 holding calls, and Cam Williams on the other side had 14. So maybe it's just a technical thing, but again, I think he moves very well. I think he can. I think he'll be a good tackle. You're going to have some ups and downs with him. I don't think that he's a guy that's going to, obviously there's no Joe Walt in this class. So I don't think there's going to be anyone that comes in and dominates right from the get-go, such as, Joe Walt did. So I think that there's a learning curve with all of these guys, and Kelvin Banks just fits right into them. It really just going to be, what's your flavor, right? Do you want a guy that can move very well? Because if that's the case, go get Kelvin Banks. I happen to really like Josh Connolly Jr. I think Josh Connolly Jr. is the closest thing to, like, I comped him to Brickashaw Ferguson, where and Charles Cross, the way he can, move and mirror guys in pass protection. He's long, still needs to get stronger, doesn't have that power profile, and that was a problem with Brick. That was a problem with Olu, But again, if you had that, and granted, he hasn't played a lot on the right side, so that would be that transition. But I could think of two worse things than having two guys that could protect the passer and might not be able to, might not be dominant run blockers, but can move in space very well. So, if you scheme them up right, I think that can work very well. So, There's guys like that. If you want the power profile guys, the Trapillos, the Anthony Beltons of the world, you got plenty of those. Ursary, I think, is a real talented kid. I'm just wondering. He's a little stiff, so I'm wondering how he's going to handle NFL speed. That's the question mark I have. That's the question I have with him. There's tons of different guys. There's tons of different tackles in this class. None of them are perfect. As for last year, I thought the tackle class was excellent. There were some guys that was hard to find a lot of things that were wrong. Whereas this one, you're hoping that you can coach up the issues to make them viable pros.
Here's the question I have for you now, Dom. All right, final one. Which pick that the Jets could make at 7 would piss you off the most?
Shamar Stewart.
Ugh.
Shamar Stewart. And I think they need to address the edge. Again, give credit to Leger because he talked about Elijah Roberts, who's one of my favorites in the class. I absolutely love the guy. I think he's going to be a really, really good pro. I think he's got that JFM in him where he can, he's 280 pounds, can play inside, outside. So I think edge at 7 would be I'm not going to say it'd be a problem, but you take a projection edge like Shamar Stewart, who has all the skills and athleticism in the world, but the production hasn't been there. This isn't the draft. This isn't the draft with all our needs. I think the first round pick has to be a statement pick, and it has to be kind of safer. So for me, Shamar Stewart would be the one that I would really, really be pissed off at.
It's all projection. It's like, how can you take that guy at 7 over some other guys who have proven it way more?
Well, it happened a couple years ago, right? When Jacksonville took Walker number 1 overall, he had no production in college either. He had no production, but they said, all right, well, his Trayvon Walker, his skill set and his athletic ability, we think he can turn into something. It took him 3 years. He had a great season last year, But I think if he can go back now, 10 out of 10 times, they'll probably take Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Right? Who didn't have the athletic upside, but had a much higher floor.
If I'm picking that high, I'm taking the floor because I can't miss. Like if you draft a good player who's not great, you're not going to get criticized. If you draft a projection and he never does anything, that's how you lose your job.
Yep. And this isn't the draft. This isn't the draft to do that, right? You can take chances and you can roll the dice when you got a 12 or 13 win team and you're picking 27, 28, 29.
Yep.
And it seems that all the picks are kind of luxury. Picking in the top 10 with holes up and down your roster, it's not the time to get cute. Play safe. Play safe for for day 1, day 2, and then you want to play around. You want to take some shots in day 3. Go at it. Have at it. I'm all for it.
Dom C, everyone, one of the greats. I've been referencing his draft guide for months. It's helped me get through these last couple months of programming. Dom, you're the man, and I will be reaching out to you because I'd love to get you to stop by some of the live streams I'm doing during the draft so we all can get your thoughts in real time.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Just reach out. Text me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Dom C, who's a phenomenal man, draft analyst, humanitarian. We love Dom. Quick reminder, this show's available in podcast form, The Jake Asman Show, in audio form on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So you can listen to the show on the go. Download it. Listen the next day if you can't hear it live. As long as you're listening. That's all that matters. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special announcement that I just saw. Beastbreaker wrote in, I'm going to drink water. Beast, call back in. All right, let's see what you look like. Drinking some water. 99 Jet says, coming to the draft party Thursday. FYI, same time as Knicks at Detroit. Jets draft first priority Thursday night. The Knick game, don't worry, will be on several of the TVs inside Clinton Hall. I'm a huge Knick fan. I'm rocking the Knicks gear right now. The Knicks game will be prominently showed during the draft party. On the big screen projector, though, with the sound, will be the NFL draft for all the diehards coming out to watch the draft with us. JD says, for AG and Muji to gain credibility, we need an NFL starter. Well, at 7 at the bare minimum, you need a really good starter, I think. Like, if you just drafted an okay player at right tackle, that's not good. I mean, it's better than a bust, but Alan says, is Beast really a father? He has said that he has a daughter, so I believe he is a father. Tony G, they need to run block, period. They need to be coached better how to do that. That's a big part of this as well. Big fella's in the house. Happy Easter, everyone. Big fella, can't wait to see you on Thursday. I know everyone's fired up to lie down on the mattress with Big fella. Big fella will be taking pictures with all fans in attendance. In this mattress. JYB checks in with a $20 super chat. This is 5 raffle entries normally, but today it is 7. Thank you, JYB. I wouldn't want it to play out like Douz's mock, but I'm ready for it to be over. Love that. I would not want it to play out like Douzable's mock either. I don't mind the Membu pick. I don't like the other picks in the 2nd and 3rd round. 4th round on, I have no issue with some of his picks. I don't want to wait till the 3rd round to take our first skill player, and that 3rd round picks a guy with injury concerns, and it's a bit of a projection. I don't love it. Jeffrey says, I know this is a stupid question because you probably have said it a million times, but you will be live, right? Because I'd love to have you on while watching the draft. So, great question, Jeffrey. I will be live after the Jets make their pick. I want to make sure that I have plenty of time to enjoy the watch party with everyone that's going out of their way to support me and be there. Plus, I got to get on the mic at the party and announce the winners to the raffle. Do the Mr. Bonesy Best of the Best trophy presentation as well. But I will be live for a reaction to the Jets pick right after. And I plan on going live at the end of round 1 for a recap. And then we'll be live during the day for during the day leading up to round 2 and 3. And I'll be live for the entire 2nd and 3rd round and all day for day 3 on Saturday. D-Man, draft night almost here. Can't wait. Get your ticket to the party, D-Man. We need you there. PBM says, I missed his super chat. PBM, you are correct. I apologize. This got buried. Really want the Revis picture. LFG, Jets, Banks, and Iboka are an NYJ royalty. If the Jets come away with Calvin Banks, Inimeke, and Ibuka, I'd be very surprised because that would tell me they probably had to trade back and then trade back up, maybe. I don't know. 2 raffle entries, though, for Mike. Mark says, looking forward to Thursday. Mark, thank you very much. We'll see you there. Last chance to get in here. Comments, questions, your super chats. Cut the line. The Gusbuster hotline link is pinned. Thank you to Dom C for joining us, giving us some quick draft takes there. That was unexpected, but always great to get Dom on. David says, I can't wait to stare at Mel Kiper's hair all night Thursday. Oh, that you know Kiper's got the best hair gel out there. He's ready to go. He's ready. I'm ready. We're all ready. JD says, yes, I was referring to a legit starter, not Stewart, to reach like Golston or Roger Vick. Yeah, you can't. You can't because, like, think about it. It's the first pick of a new regime. It matters so much. All right, the Jets were still chasing their tail for the Mekhi Becton blunder and JD's last draft. That's why they had to take Olu because it wasn't enough to sign Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses. They needed more depth because they failed to ever get the long-term answer at left tackle. Thankfully, we think they now have with Olu Fashanu. Connor says, Jake, can't wait for Thursday. Connor, can't wait to have you and the crew there. Also, thank you to Connor, who wrote a story for Jets X Factor, talking about my opinion on Tyler Warren, and also threw in a mention about the draft party that we're doing with Fireman Ed. So thank you very much for that one, Connor. I'm going to put the link in the chat for everyone to read Connor's work. Rob says, draft Warren, sign Lockett. I would like that a lot. They should sign Lockett regardless. I don't know why he's still out there. Beastbreaker says, Allen, I'm savage and a sexy man. Yes, I am sexy. David T says, thanks for the show, Jake. Well, thanks for watching, David. I hope everyone's having a great Easter. If you're watching this after the fact, thanks for tuning in. We're back tomorrow. Party with Peg and Artie. Are we sold out yet? No, not yet. Still got like 28 tickets, I think. We're getting there. We're getting there. Shurzy says the only war Beast has been in is with his weight. Wow. Strong take there. Strong take. Last chance here. Comments, questions, super chats. Last chance for the raffle. It is tomorrow. Revis photo, top prize. Sauce, top prize. Keyshawn, top prize. Toon, top prize. And Kenny O, top prizes in our raffle. Shout out to Jose Lopez. He is in the raffle for 7 with this super chat. What's up, Jake? Go Knicks. Go campaign. Mitch on D is a game changer. I'll tell you what, a phenomenal performance last night that I think is being under-discussed. Karl Anthony Towns played arguably his best game as a Knick last night when you consider how effective he was defensively. 4 steals, a couple blocks. The playoff defense was different for the Knicks last night. It was tremendous. Obviously, OG did a really nice job on Cunningham. Mitchell Robinson, when playing with Towns at times, was effective. And campaign was great. He was like Dante DiVincenzo last year. Gave me a huge boost. As far as your Jet take, it says a sneaky take for Okafor starts at right tackle, and you can get Warren at 7. I think he's going to get a legit chance to compete for the right tackle job if they don't take Membu. Go offensive/defensive tackle in the second round or best player available. I could definitely see a DT being picked in the second round. I prefer offensive players, though. I think they could find a starting level defensive tackle on day 3. I don't know if they need to do it on day 2. Now, some will disagree. Say he's a great player, just take him. I would wait. Personally, I'd wait. David says the fantastic Towns D and the refs weren't really calling anything. They let him play last night, which is kind of what you get more in the playoffs than the regular season for sure. Connor, am I on with Nick Sean tonight? I am. Sean time. Garrick says, as a Thunder fan, thanks for iHeart. Well, we had no control over that. You could thank the NBA for Hartenstein. The Knicks wanted to keep him. They couldn't pay him more than the Thunder could pay him because of the CBA rules that are stupid. I got some news to share with someone on the line. Beast, how are you?
I'm having my pills right now.
Let's see that beautiful face of yours.
Oh, I gotta go get little Joey. I gotta go check on him.
Where's little Joey?
He's eating right now. Okay. First, we're gonna get chicken. Whoa. Ah, come here, kid. Okay. Come on. Come on. Okay. Come here. There you are. How you doing, kid? There he is. There we are.
Hey, Beast.
Look at him.
This is for Rick Kent.
Now
look what you've done.
Offensive line, defensive line,
Beast Breaker
offensive line. The first damn boy in new
666.
dress.
No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to cut your call off and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. Do you understand me? You catch my drift?
Are you seriously on crack? I think somebody
Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
How about you bending over and taking up the booty hole behind the 7-Eleven?
We honor bounties on this show. You can't escape the hole, Beast. And Rick Kent paid $50 for it. Now, we do love little Joey. Unfortunately, little Joey is going to the hole with Beast. All hail little Joey. He's one of the greats. On that note, that's the show, folks. Thank you all for watching. Happy Easter to all. Best listeners, couldn't do it without you. We're back tomorrow. Darren Muji will speak in the morning. I will react to that on our first show. We'll have a raffle. We also will, of course, continue to talk about the Jets and the draft. We'll be 3 days out. Please get your ticket to the draft party if you're coming. It's going to be a great night. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully the Jets give us a reason to be excited at the end of night one as well. My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show. Wish you all an incredible rest of your Easter Sunday, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Go Jets, everybody.
Look, I'm going to turn around.
Keep mooning us. There we go.
No. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I want to apologize for yesterday. I was trying to show off the name on my jersey, but my desk chair doesn't swivel. So I got up and I showed off my butt.